Let's talk about the horrible yet universal human experience of hangovers. My name's Katie and I struggled with alcohol for about 10 years and I definitely experienced my fair share of hangovers. I was someone who drank pretty much 7 days a week and I would have multiple hangovers throughout the week, whether it be kind of a mild one where I just was kind of in a brain fog and not feeling great, or it'd be severe to the point of me throwing up in the toilet all day long, feeling like I got run over by a truck. There's so many different types of hangovers. I don't know which type I hated the most. There were the ones where I'd wake up in the morning and be like, oh my gosh, I feel surprisingly good. I guess I can get ready and go to work today. You know, considering how much I drank last night, I'm not that bad off. But then I'd get to work and a few hours later it would just hit me. I remember this one time I was in the kitchen of my office and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna throw up. This is terrible. I think I've got to go home. And my boss comes in and just starts talking to me about all these numbers and things and wants to chat with me. And I'm literally holding back vomit. That one is so memorable to me because I was so sick and I was at work and I had to think of some excuse to go home. Another one of my least favorite hangovers are those ones where you wake up and you immediately feel sick, but you know that whatever you have going on that day, you're not going to be able to get out of, like flying on a plane or driving in a car. I have taken many plane rides super hungover. What's crazy is that I would totally function in life and most people wouldn't know how bad I would feel. Like I could usually get away with being hungover at work or around my husband or friends or family, and most people really wouldn't know how I'd feel. And I'd honestly chalk it up to me being a lightweight, which just wasn't true at all. But I would say, oh, I don't know why I'm so sick. Maybe I forgot to eat, or maybe I drank one too many, when really I was like pounding drinks and drinking to the point of blackout and intoxication. Funny for me also is that I hated hangovers so much when I first started drinking that I honestly didn't really care for alcohol because I was so afraid of a hangover that I might have one or two drinks just because I didn't want to experience the hangover. But the funny thing about alcohol addiction is that it's progressive. And so over time, I learned to drink and learned to drink excessively and learned to kind of function in life being hungover half of the days of the week. I also used to feel that horrible anxiety feeling. And when I started on the Sinclair Method to cut back on drinking, what I learned was that anxiety or just anxiety after drinking was actually a form of alcohol withdrawal. And that was really sobering for me to think like, oh my gosh, I was in alcohol withdrawal pretty much on a daily basis. What's crazy for me too, though, is that hangovers had become such a normal part of my life that I was basically used to feeling like crap every day. It was just like, how bad do I feel today? Do I feel mildly crappy or do I feel awful to the point where like I'm not going to be able to function and I'm going to need to spend the day in bed? For me though, even though there were so many negative consequences with my drinking, like hangovers, it wasn't motivation enough for me to quit drinking. I would wake up in the morning a lot of days and be like, oh, I'm not going to drink tonight because I feel awful. But then as the day went on and by 5 o'clock rolling around, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll have some drinks tonight. So even though I was hungover all the time and there was this really negative consequence of drinking, in addition to many other negative consequences, it definitely didn't deter me from drinking. And now I know really it has to do with the fact that because I had alcohol addiction, my brain was essentially hijacked by the addiction. And any consequences didn't really matter because the reward that I was getting from alcohol and that pleasure was outranking anything else. So even if I, almost crashed my car or did something really stupid that I regretted, or I'd be hungover, I might be able to abstain for a day, a couple days, couple weeks, or even a couple of months. But I would kind of like forget about it over time and just be like, yeah, screw it, I want to drink, because I was really looking forward to the buzz that comes from alcohol. And I'm honestly so grateful to be 5 years alcohol free now, thanks to the Sinclair Method, and 5 years hangover free. I think one thing I realized through this process is that I didn't realize how bad I felt on a daily basis because feeling like crap was just my norm until I started to drink less through this treatment and saw myself heal, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally from the alcohol addiction, and saw myself gradually reduce my drinking and get to the point where I just didn't even want to drink anymore. And there's so much freedom in that, because that's such a vicious cycle that we can get stuck in, of the drinking and then the regrets and then trying to abstain or control and then over drinking. It was just an awful cycle I was stuck in for 10 years, and I'm very grateful to be free from it now, thanks to the Sinclair Method.